Hello and welcome to a new lesson where we dive into practical debugging techniques for Docker containers. In this lesson, we will use a simple Node.js application containerized in my_container. So for this lesson, I have created a debug directory. Inside the debug directory, we have all files needed for this lesson. We have the Docker file that we will build the Node.js application from it. And also we have the app.js that print hello world, and we have the package.json with the needed packages for our Node.js application. Let's start the lesson by ensuring your container is built and running. To build our Docker container, let's execute docker build -t my_container, which will be the name of our image, then dot, because we have the Docker file in the same current directory where we execute the command. Now press enter. We didn't get any error message. Now it's time to run the container in detached mode, exposing it on port 3000. So let's execute docker run -d to run it in detached mode, then -p to map our ports 3000 on my local host to 3000 in the container. Then the name of my container will be my_debug_container. Then this running container will be created from our image we just created, which is my_container image. Now press enter. So now one of the first steps in debugging is checking container logs. To check a container log, you type docker logs, then the container name. In our use case, my container name is my_debug_container. So this will show you the output of your application, including any errors or warning. If you need to inspect the container's environment or run commands inside it, access the shell with docker exec -it, then the name of the container, my_debug_container, then /bin/sh to access the shell. Press enter. As you can see now, you are in the working directory inside the container. So you are inside /user/source/app. You can run ls and the normal Linux commands inside the container for troubleshooting. You also can print all environment variable using print_env. And from the print_env, you can see the node version, the host name, the debug, and the service name, for example. So inside the shell, you can navigate the file system, install debugging tools, or directly interact with your application. To exit the shell from the container, just type exit. To get detailed information about the container's state, configuration, and network settings, you can use the inspect with docker command. So let's see how. So I will type docker, then inspect, then the container name, my_debug_container. Now press enter. So this command provides a JSON output of everything Docker knows about your container. So for example, here you can see that the IP address is 172.17.0.2. You can also know the network ID. You can know information about the ports. And you can see the environment variables for this container. To see if your container's ports are correctly exposed and listening, you can use docker port, then the container name, which is my_debug_container. And as you can see from the output, you can know that the port 3000 exposed to the public. And as you can see from the output, this verifies that your application is accessible through the expected port. You can also get the stats about your container by using docker stats. Then specify the container name, my_debug_container. And as you can see from the output, you can see the container ID, the name of the container, the CPU utilization, the memory usage and limit, and memory utilization and the network input output. So let me bring my web browser here, and I accessed the container through localhost 3000 and it printed the hello world. If I did refresh like that, you will notice that the CPU utilization starts to increase. Understanding a container's resource usage is key to debugging performance issues. By executing Docker stats, you understand a container's resource usage, which is a key to debugging performance issues. So Docker stats giving us a real-time overview of container resources such as CPU and memory usage. Let's press Ctrl C. Now let's remove or clean up our container. So I will do docker rm-f, then the container name my underscore debug underscore container. In this lesson, we have covered essential debugging techniques for Docker containers, from accessing logs and interacting with the container shell to inspecting its state and troubleshooting common issues. These skills are invaluable for developing and maintaining Dockerized applications. Practice these techniques and apply them to your projects. Happy debugging!